Greetings over to web surfers, Patrick here, coming at you with my thoughts on the BFG, a new children's film directed by Steven Spielberg, starring Mark Rylance as the titular giant, and Ruby Burnhill as a little girl called Sophie, an orphan who spots the BFG on his nightly dream blowing. Stop thinking of that dirty joke. And since he doesn't want to be discovered, he basically kidnaps her and takes her to Giant Country. And from there, all sorts of whimsical stuff ensues, as you'd expect from a Spielberg movie. There are other nasty giants, they meet the Queen at one point, there's this humongous tree with lots of lights, just generally loads of stuff. Now, I'll admit that while I did read the BFG in school, I don't really remember it that well. Okay, I do remember sort of the basic plot and stuff, and I think I liked it, but except for that, not much. So yeah, walking in, I was pretty much open to this. Okay, let's start off with the stuff I liked about this movie, because there is a lot. First off, Mark Rylance was utterly brilliant as the BFG. I mean, he is easily the best thing in this movie. Without him, film would be nothing. He's just so charming and likeable. Oh, I mean, of course, there's the thing with him kidnapping the girl that could easily end up creepy, and I thought of quite a few jokes I can make that I'm not, for common decency, but yeah, he's just so likeable. Yeah, I just loved it. You want to eat him up. Like, he has sort of the likability and humour of an old man, but a sort of naivete that, hey, like a child in a way. Like, he's very childlike, of course. He has these little things where he usually says words wrong, or his sentences aren't quite right, and you'd think that'd get annoying, but no, it surprisingly doesn't. Oh, and the motion capture on Rylance, it's some of the best I've ever seen. I mean, of course the technology looks good and the design and CGI that brings it to life is great, but the actor's performance is really what brings it to life. He's so incredibly expressive in both his expressions and voice. And his relationship with Sophie, he is very, very genuine. Well, as I said, she's played by a very good actress. Okay, there are a couple of bits where she's a little one, but look, I'm not going to critique a child that harshly. Plus, for most of the time, she's going to be on a green screen set acting to nothing. So, yeah, just points to her skill, just like Neil Sethi in the recent Jungle Book film. And of course, all of the direction and visuals are incredibly good. I mean, occasionally the CG is a little wonky, but then again, this is a film that uses it very, very extensively, so I'm not really going to hold it against it that much. As I said, the overall CG that brings the main character to life is very good. And it has that Spielbergian whimsy that, well, basically all of his films have. I mean, I'm a humongous fan of Spielberg. Jurassic Park is one of my favourite childhood films. So, yeah, just have him directing a film and I'm automatically going to be excited for it. I haven't watched Bridge of Spies yet. I have it on DVD. I'm definitely going to watch it, but yeah, it just ticks loads of the Spielberg boxes. Like, it's incredibly heartwarming, a whimsical adventure, and yeah, this is definitely a very enjoyable film, despite the fact that it does have quite a few problems. First off, the other giants. Just one-note bully thugs who just kind of show up whenever there needs to be a conflict. Yeah, it's kind of like Spielberg went, oh dear, there's too much whimsy in these scenes. Get those nasty giants in there. Just pile them on in there. Make them really nasty. They're irredeemable. I don't think Spielberg actually sounds like that. Sorry if you're watching. Oh, and some of the humour was a bit hit and miss. Now, generally it was quite funny. And as I said, the BFG's malapropisms never get annoying, but there is an overabundance of whiz poppers. I think you can work out what they are. And basically those jokes stank. Also, Penelope Wilton as the Queen. Now, don't get me wrong, she's an excellent actress and she is still very good in the role, but the trouble is, I'm a big Doctor Who fan, so in all of her scenes I did half expect her to go, Harriet Jones, Queen of England. Yes, always knowing who you are. Just a little me thing. I don't know. Plus, there are also quite a few scenes that were really dragged out and longer than they needed to be. Although, there are some scenes that go on for just the amount of time. Like, there's this bit where the BFG and Sophie go to this giant tree for him to catch dreams. Like, that's his main job. He catches dreams and goes out into the human world and gives them to people. And that scene is perfect. It's easily the best scene in the movie. The visuals are very strong. You really feel the friendship between the two main characters. And there is some insight into both of them. But there are also, as I said, quite a few scenes that go on too long. Like, there's the scene after they go to the Queen so she can take care of the nasty giants or something. And they have breakfast there. That starts out very entertaining. Of course, you see lots of big stuff for the giant, like he uses a rake as a fork and a spade as a spoon, and just piles of food and all that. And yet, there are quite a few little funny bits, even between the Queen and Sophie, removing the BFG. But it goes on too long, the jokes sort of go stale, and there is another whiz popper joke. Also, the plot of this movie is just generally it kind of meanders along, and this doesn't hurt the film until the third act. I mean, it just kind of works where the BFG just takes Sophie to all of these things that he has in Giant Land, like shows them around his giant house, shows them to the big dream tree, and all of it works, but when you just have them fighting the giants just because you kind of need a climax, it's very weak. But now that I think about it, most of those are problems that come from the narrative of the book, because I do remember those being in there. And, well, yeah, you can't exactly stray too far from the source material, especially with something as beloved as a Roald Dahl book. So, yeah, I can't really blame Spielberg for them. However, these problems they don't usually get too bothersome. The movie is really carried through by the BFG, Sophie, and their friendship, which are all really, really good. So, yeah, overall, this is still an enjoyable movie despite its flaws. Overall, I'd give the BFG about a 7 out of 10. It is definitely a good film. If you're a parent with some kids who has to wait for 4 days till Finding Dory comes out, I definitely recommend taking them down to the cinema. Even if you're just like a regular film goer or a fan of Roald Dahl, this will definitely have some stuff for you if you're able to put aside some flaws and suspend your disbelief in more than a few places. So, that about wraps it up. I'm Parax11, thank you for watching.